All right, welcome to this explainer of Chapter 5 from our source material. If you've ever felt, completely derailed by an unexpected setback, or just totally overwhelmed by the sheer exhausting pace of the modern world, well, you are absolutely not alone. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating framework for building what the text calls a resilient, bright life. We're going to explore how restructuring our focus and adopting a few core philosophical methods can literally change your daily experience. Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll start with the approach to a bright life, move into diversifying happiness, look at the focus on this one day, explore divinity within oneself, and finally, synthesize it all into a life undefeated by adversity. Let's dive in. Starting off with Section 1, the approach to a bright life and understanding modern anxieties. So why do we suffer so much when things go wrong? The source material boils it down to three main traps: crippling anxiety about tomorrow, lingering regret over yesterday, and tying our entire sense of well-being to just one single thing in our lives. And honestly, these aren't just minor character flaws. They are massive structural weaknesses in how we approach our daily lives. Basically, we fail to manage our focus on time, and we totally fail to manage our focus on what actually brings us joy. Which brings us nicely to Section 2, diversification of happiness and restructuring our sources of joy. Okay, imagine structuring your life like a massive Japanese general trading company. These companies handle everything, right? Steel, textiles, food, machinery, the whole shebang. If the timber market crashes, they survive because their other divisions are still thriving. But if you live a single product life, one market crash or one personal setback basically bankrupts your happiness. Boom, your entire foundation is shattered just because you lacked structural variety and where you get your joy. Let's bring this down to earth. Think of a parent living entirely for their child, or a professional who is consumed 100% by getting that next promotion. If the child grows up and leaves home, or if that promotion falls through and goes to someone else, their entire world collapses into profound despair. That is the intense danger of investing all your emotional capital into a single source. It creates this tremendous, unnecessary vulnerability to the natural ups and downs of life. So what's the fix? You've got to diversify your portfolio of joy. If things go wrong at work, you still have your hobbies, your community, your family, or your spiritual practices. Expanding your sources of happiness transforms you from this narrow, vulnerable state into a highly resilient, multidimensional person. Losing source A won't destroy you, because source B and source C are still totally intact and actively keeping you afloat. Moving right along to Section 3, focus on this one day and managing temporal boundaries. If you want to protect your pace, you absolutely have to establish strict temporal boundaries. Seal off the past, seal off the future. You need to isolate your mental energy entirely on the present 24 hours. The text argues that the vast majority of our unhappiness comes from a lack of temporal discipline. We're constantly letting our minds bleed into years gone by, or pouring all our energy into years that literally haven't even happened yet. The text references this really classic, powerful maxim: sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. This enforces a strict, no borrowing, no carrying over rule. Constantly reviewing a decade-old mistake actively brings old pain into a fresh day. And worrying about next year, you are essentially paying interest on a debt you haven't even incurred yet. We have to stop punishing our current selves for things entirely outside of the present moment. To really visualize this, think of those massive, heavy, iron, watertight doors on a submarine. Just as they slam shut to prevent a leak from sinking the whole ship, you must decisively clang shut the iron doors on your past and future. You have to protect the precious 24 hours you are living in right now. By compartmentalizing your time like this, a leak in yesterday doesn't flood your today. Because look, deeply analyzing a 10-year-old mistake, it's like stamping yourself as a lifelong criminal. You're refusing to grant yourself a pardon that you would easily give to a friend. Worse, borrowing future anxiety acts as a self-fulfilling prophecy. The author explains that constant fear operates almost like a magnet, literally attracting the exact unhappy circumstances you're desperately trying to avoid. Your peace of mind gets totally destroyed by phantom threats. All right, Section 4, divinity within oneself and elevating to internal realization. At the deepest level, the source material emphasizes that our fundamental human essence is actually shaped by our daily thoughts. Beneath all that worldly anxiety lies a pure, radiant core, an inner divinity or Buddha nature that is as unshatterable as a diamond. When you truly realize that this core cannot be scratched by worldly failures, you naturally emit a brightness that positively affects everyone around you. You start operating from a foundation of absolute, unshakable worth. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch here. You cannot maintain this inner light if you use 100% of your energy on worldly survival. If you are entirely consumed by the mechanical, day-to-day grind of society, you lose touch with that essence. You must reserve a portion of your day purely for spiritual grounding. It's about keeping your roots planted securely in the earth while you navigate the crazy demands of daily life. The text talks about deliberately breaking the endless chain of desires. You know the loop, where getting a bicycle makes you want a car and getting a car makes you want a garage, leading to this state of perpetual dissatisfaction. Stepping outside that endless loop, just to rest, listen to the wind, or literally just look up at the blue sky, is the hallmark of someone truly living a bright life. It is absolutely vital for finding calmness and recharging your soul.
Finally, Section 5, a life undefeated by adversity and synthesizing the bright life.
All right, so how do we actually pull all of this together? The source lays out a really clear, comprehensive 3-step system. Step 1, branch out your emotional investments like a trading company to protect yourself from external shocks. Step 2, lock the watertight doors of today to stop those temporal anxieties from flooding in. And step 3, trust your inner diamond to build an unshakable bedrock of self-worth. Put together, these practices construct a life that is highly resistant to despair. So I want to leave you with this to think about. Take a hard look at your own portfolio of happiness right now. Ask yourself, is it time to diversify? And are your watertight doors truly closed on yesterday and tomorrow? Really think about it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer of the source material. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.